Today we are working Psalm 110. Psalm 110 is used in psalm magic to bring peace and gentleness into any situation. It's also interestingly used to compel dogs to become docile. You could look at it as dogs meaning any attacking thoughts within oneself or another. And it's also used for victory. And that's how I want to use it today. I want to use Psalm 110 to bring victory into any situation, whether that's victory over something in the world, victory within yourself. The way we work psalm magic is very simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm that we're working and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. Then we go back through that same psalm and we dig for hidden occult meanings which we find behind every verse. Those hidden occult meanings we call magic seeds. And by searching and applying what we find to our situation at hand, we are taking those magic seeds and planting them in the depths of our minds. And that is very fertile ground. And then those seeds take root. They grow. They blossom forth, and then they bear fruit after their kind. And that is exactly what we are going to do right now with Psalm 110. The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou at my right hand, until I make thine enemies thy footstool. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth. The Lord hath sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. He shall drink of the brook in the way. Therefore shall he lift up the head. A very brief and mysterious psalm. And I call this an oracle. This psalm is from the mouth of an oracle. So you can imagine maybe a Celtic bard with his harp playing and speaking forth oracles. It starts out, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou at my right hand. So this is the oracle speaking. The Lord, meaning the tetragrammaton. And when we talk about the tetragrammaton in psalm magic, we're talking about the infinite, the source of all life. There's one power, one source, and one substance. And when we work psalm magic, we always must orient ourselves to this power. Because since there's only one, nothing can oppose it. Nothing can thwart it. Nothing can go against it. And therefore, our success is assured. Now, when we say that there's only one, we don't mean one Father God up in the sky. We're talking about the unity of all that is. There's one power, one source, and one substance. This is the force. So this force said unto my Lord. So it's talking about a king here. There's the Lord, meaning the tetragrammaton, and then there's an earthly king, and that earthly king is you. And it doesn't matter what your gender is, your physical gender. In this day and age when these psalms were written, in this culture, they only had kings. That was the monarch. Open your mind to the idea that even if you're of a non-male gender in this body, that you are being described as the king here. You are the monarch. The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou at my right hand. So infinite intelligence is giving you power and authority over everything. You're sitting at the right hand of infinite intelligence, which means that seat of power and honor. And because of you being the king, you being the monarch, infinite intelligence is giving you all power to reign. Sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies my footstool. You don't have to be victorious. You allow infinite intelligence to make you victorious. Don't interfere. You don't have to do anything. You sit here with me. I will make your enemies my footstool. Now, there's a lot of interesting symbolism with the footstool. For one thing, the footstool represents the Ark of the Covenant when you get into some of the theology behind the Hebrew Bible. But think in terms of the footstool as being understanding. So I will make your enemies my footstool, meaning I will give understanding to all of it. Victory in this sense, even though it sounds like your enemies are being conquered, your enemies are conquered because you have understanding of them, which also is Binah, sphere number 3 on the Hermetic Tree of Life. So your job here in getting the victory that you desire is to simply sit and allow it to be done for you and allow the understanding to come to you. You don't have to do anything. Now, the oracle is changing and not talking as infinite intelligence, but now is directing its oracle to you, the king. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. The rod of thy strength out of Zion. So that's your scepter. You're being given a scepter, and it comes straight out of Zion, meaning that place where you and infinite intelligence are one, where you're sitting at the right hand of infinite intelligence. And that's how you can rule in the midst of your enemies. You have the power to rule no matter what appears to be going on, and you don't have to worry about being victorious. You just rule and allow infinite intelligence to take care of it all for you. Sometimes when we hear things like this, we think, well, that doesn't sound right. Aren't I supposed to be involved? Yeah, you're supposed to be ruling. You're supposed to be doing what's in front of you to do. But you've been given this scepter to rule. As things come in front of you, before you, you take care of them as they come. But you don't worry about the overall comings and goings. You don't worry about your enemies. You don't worry about your problems. You don't worry about this thing that doesn't seem to be something that you can be victorious over. You just take what's in front of you to do. You take care of it one little step at a time and know that infinite intelligence has this. It says in the midst of your enemies. So even when there's problems that are all around you and you think, I just don't think I can ever get victorious over this. It just seems like such a big deal. It's saying, don't worry about it. Let it be that way. Let your enemies, let your problems seem to think that they've got power. No biggie. You just take one little step at a time, do what's in front of you to do, allow yourself to be guided and led in the moment. With that rod of power, with that scepter, you rule, and don't worry about it. It's all being taken care of for you. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. In the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning, thou hast the dew of thy youth. The people are your thoughts inside your mind. So the people are willing in the day of thy power. When you allow yourself to have the power to receive this scepter from infinite intelligence, then your thoughts become focused on your power, on your victory. And thoughts are what create reality. And so the thoughts are willing in the day of your power. In the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Isn't that a beautiful line? The womb of the morning. Now, the womb of the morning is hearkening back again to sphere number 3. Sphere number 3 is the womb of the morning. Think in terms of that morning star. That morning star is Venus, and that morning star rises before the sun. And that is your guiding light, also called Lucifer. That is your guiding light that guides you, shows you what to do at every moment of time, every point of space. And your job is simply to be in the moment, not worry about tomorrow, not worry about the big picture. Just take it one little step at a time and allow that guiding light to guide you and to answer your questions, to tell you where to go, what to do, how to be. Thou hast the dew of thy youth. The dew of your youth. Now, dew is in the morning, right? That's what comes in the morning. And your youth is your eternal spirit. Your soul is forever young. Your soul does not grow old. And so your victory is assured just as the sun comes up in the morning, just as the dew comes out in the morning, just as sure as your soul is eternal. The Lord hath sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. Now, this is a very important phrase for many people in occult systems and in the craft, because you will find many different initiatory orders and craft initiations and angelic and Pauline arts and all kinds of different initiatory paths claim to be after the order of Melchizedek. And Melchizedek was supposedly the very first king of Salem. And he was what many traditions will claim to be the beginning of wisdom traditions on this earth, the beginning of occult traditions on this earth. So you are a priest after the order of Melchizedek. You are on an initiatory path, and you are ordained as such. Infinite intelligence isn't going to go back on its word. The Lord has sworn. The Lord has sworn to you, and you have sworn to the Lord. And so you're going to stay on your path, and your path will always be open before you. You may not know what's happening tomorrow. You may not understand what's happening next week or next year, but you will be guided in the moment as that path opens up to you. You are walking on a sacred way. The way, think of the way with a capital W. You are walking on a sacred way, the sacred path of initiation, and nothing will be withheld from you, and you won't have to worry about defending yourself. You won't have to worry about killing your enemies or being victorious over any situation, because all of that's taken care of. What you have to worry about is being on the path, one foot in front of the next, in front of the next, in front of the next, and knowing and having faith that it will unfold before you in a perfect way. And this is the path of initiation. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Remember, the right hand is the hand of war, is the hand of the sword. And so you don't have to worry about defending yourself. You don't have to worry about attacking. You don't have to worry about anything. It's being taken care of for you. The day of his wrath means the day of reckoning, the day of justice, the day when everything gets taken care of. Now, to the ego mind, and from the point of view of whatever it is that you want victory over, the day of reckoning is not a good day. But for you, it's a very good day, because it's where everything comes into the light, where everything becomes right again, where you're victorious over whatever this problem is, whatever this situation is. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. So judging among the heathen, remember, for us, the heathen are thoughts of self-destruction. They're errant thought forms, undisciplined thinking, thoughts that are constantly at odds with our good. When it says heathen, it doesn't mean that psalm magic is at odds with people who religiously identify as heathen. That's a very different topic. The heathen in psalm magic is a very specific idea, meaning those parts of our mind which are at odds with us, those egoic thought forms which are programmed to self-destruct. So he's going to judge among the heathen. You want God's judgment. You can't judge. That's why you have to take it one step at a time. If you could judge, you wouldn't have to call upon infinite intelligence, but it's not your function to judge. It's not your function to judge anything, because in this particular time-space continuum, you don't have the vantage point to judge. You may be able to have the vantage point to judge at some other point in your existence, but here you don't have what it takes to judge. That's why you need infinite intelligence to judge for you. And when infinite intelligence judges the heathen, it's a type of a sorting out process. These are thoughts that are healthy. These are thoughts that aren't healthy. These are thoughts that we want to keep. These are thoughts that we want to let go of. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. Now that's a very powerful image. It's not so much that infinite intelligence is going to kill your foes. I mean, a lot of people want that, but it's not so much that. But think of the dead bodies. What are bodies? Bodies are vehicles that house a spirit. And so the dead bodies of the thought forms that are at odds with you are simply evidence of what used to be that isn't there anymore. And it's important sometimes that we have those so-called dead bodies around us, only so that we can say, remember how we used to be like that? We don't want to be like that anymore. Ancient warriors needed trophies when they overcame their enemies. They would have, the heads of their enemies as trophies because they were a reminder to themselves and to everybody else, don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. I mean business, right? And it was a reminder to them. This is just a depiction of that ancient archetype for you, that you need some trophies sometimes too. Remember how I used to be like this? Those are like scars, war wounds, and things like that. I've gone through a lot, but I'm not going through it anymore because those things are dead to me. Those problems are dead to me. I'm victorious. He shall wound the heads over many countries. Countries, nations, are overarching thought forms. They're the big thought forms that seem to cause trends in your life, whether for good or for ill. And so when infinite intelligence wounds the head over many countries, it's saying that in order for you to be victorious, you need to change your mind in some of these larger ways. You need to be able to be willing to see things in such a new way that you're willing to let go of those old overarching thought forms that you used to see the world through. And that's wounding the heads over many countries. We want to kill those thought forms. We want to let those thought forms go. We want to see things in a big new way. He shall drink of the brook in the way. So think of the way in this particular sense as being that initiatory path that you're walking. You're walking the path of an initiate. And when you drink the water of that path, then you not only quench your thirst, but just like when we do water magic, you are assimilating the vibrations of that water. So you're assimilating the vibrations of this path of initiation, of this victory, of the way, of this wisdom. Therefore, he shall lift up the head. So think in terms of lifting up your head, meaning that you are standing upright, you are peaceful, you are poised, you are serene. You know that you have nothing to fear. You know that you don't have any reason to feel ashamed or feel guilty because you have drunk of the water of the way, and you are now a new person. You are reborn in this moment, just like you are with any kind of an initiation. You leave the past in the past, and you become a new being on this new path, on this new way. And that is where victory lies for you, because you've left behind and let go all of those old thought forms, those old nations, those old heathen, those old ideas that were responsible for your problem that you needed to have victory over. And so now not only have you solved the problem, but you've completely annihilated the cause of the problem. And you can move forward in freedom and wisdom as a new person. So you just keep coming back to this psalm again and again every single day, until you get a sense of peace and serenity and certainty that what you are working on has been accomplished. You'll feel it in your gut. You'll feel that everything's okay and you don't have any worries about the situation anymore. Once you get that sense, you know that your spell has taken, that that thought form is a reality, and that it's just a matter of time before you start seeing the manifestation of it, in which case you can just stop casting that spell and move on to something else. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Until next time, blessed be.